Hello, everyone, and a very good evening to you. I hope you're all doing well and you all are really excited for this very informative and insightful live that we have for you today. And it is on a career path to becoming a data scientist in biology. So, we've all attended the webinars for bioinformatics and AI/ML. So, today we'll be looking at the data science in biology side of things. So, leave it in the comments how excited you are to explore this new avenue that we have for you. So, before I introduce our expert panel of speakers for today, let me talk a little bit about data science in biology. So, as we've been telling you time and again, post COVID, biological research has expanded exponentially. Okay, and this is also largely due to the impact of certain technologies that are being used, like sequencing, like proteomics, imaging, etc. So when all of these technologies are used, a lot of data is generated. Now, because so much data is generated, it also needs to be analyzed in an effective manner. So that is when data science comes into play. So sometimes they say it is a complement to bioinformatics because it uses certain statistical and computational tools. So using which you can analyze and structure the data in a more meaningful way. So what is the impact in biology for this? Like, why is it important for us? So, data science is used in a wide variety of fields, but mainly for us, it is in healthcare, it is in personalized medicine, it is in pandemic disease control, then it is in agriculture, even at the government level, policy making. All of this data science makes an impact. And before I forget, I'm Dilukshi, by the way, I'm your host for this evening. Now, more on this insights on what the applications are will be shared to you by our expert panel. So, who is there today? Special four guests for us today to share their wealth of knowledge. So, first off, we'll have Dr. Nilofer. I'm sure you've heard that name. She's one of our very own. So, she is an expert in big data analytics, bioinformatics, and AI driven healthcare. She has a wide range of experience in cancer research, drug designing, um, machine learning, multi-omics technologies, etc. So she will tell you all about big data biology and its applications in the real world, etc. Okay, so she will be going first, followed by which we have our second speaker, who's our special guest, one of our special guests, who is Mr. Indranil. So, what is special about him is he's a seasoned data scientist working at Eli Lilly. I'm sure you've heard this name, it must ring a bell. So, he has expertise in data science, machine learning, and also AI, specializing in the pharma and healthcare sector. So he will be telling you how you can transition into a career of data science using what skills are needed, what is your knowledge base that you need. Next up, we have Mr. Pradyot. Again, another name I'm sure all of you all will recognize, Biotechnica's very own. And he will be talking about the career pathways, opportunities, so industry versus academics. So he's very accomplished in CAD, which is computer aided drug designing, bioinformatics analysis, and genomics. He's even worked in places like IIT Madras and CSIR, IGIB, to name a few. Okay. And last but not the least, our special guest for the evening is Mr. Kapati. who's a senior machine learning engineer and also a PhD researcher at IIT Hyderabad, specializing in AI driven biomedical simulations. So, something new that we all should tune into. So, he has expertise in machine learning, theoretical neuroscience, and cloud based analytics. So, these are the expert panel that we have for you. And we're so thankful to have you all today here to carve out such a time from your busy schedules to share all of the knowledge that you have with our audience. So, a note to our audience, kindly share this link with all of your friends and also keep your ears peeled, pay attention. There'll be a Q&A session at the end if time permits. So, put in all your questions in the comments and also keep your notes app ready. Jot down all the important points. This is going to be a power packed webinar. So, without wasting any time, so I'll give the stage to Dr. Nilapur and she will kick off this webinar. See you at the end, everyone.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the introductory things. And as you all know, guys, like today we have joined for the webinar, which is entitled with Introduction to Data Science and Biology. So I hope that definitely you, all of you, are really excited to know that how exactly we can learn about data science and which can be specifically used for the biological data sets. Nowadays we are hearing about like biological data is now everywhere, right? So we are handling the biological data starting from the lab, and we are utilizing to analyze with respect to the computational approach. And whenever we are thinking to go with the proceeding with the computationally data analysis, so definitely we have to take help of certain softwares, tools, and also the technology which help us to understand the data and then use for the further research based applications finding, right guys? So definitely today we are going to highlight some of the most important overview regarding how exactly the data science can help us to analyze and also process the biological data. So nowadays we are talking about the biological data. Definitely it is in the form of big data, large data sets. So that's why we have to know first what exactly data science stands for. So data science is one of the revolutionizing field. Remember guys, why exactly this is one of the important field we all have to be understand is nothing but this is one of the field which is providing a powerful tool and even the methodologies to analyze a complex biological data sets. So remember, guys, like why exactly we are discussing the data science is majorly to use certain tools and also the certain platforms where we can process our biological big data. And the biological big data is exactly which comes from the experimental techniques. So if it is that so, then definitely there is a need to process such comprehensive data sets in a very easy manner, right? And we need certain tools and also the softwares to analyze and even interpret the data. And further to do so, we can even move ahead for the getting certain more insights about the data sets. So in that context, we need a standard methodology to process the data, right? So that's why overall data science is majorly playing a role to handle your big data by providing you a specialized tools, software, and even a methodology pipeline to process your complex data sets, right? The next thing is where we are going to discuss in this presentation where how exactly data science has insertions with respect to different fields. One of the field today we are discussing is the biological data sets. But apart from this, they are highlighting certain applications within biological data is nothing but the genomics data analysis, right? Next is nothing but the drug discovery. And further, we are going to discuss about healthcare innovations. Got it. So discussing about the overview of data science. So data science is defined as the one of the combined study where we are taking help of statistics, data analysis, and even machine learning to process a complex data sets. So in that context, it is really important to extract the meaningful insights from the biological data. So remember, guys, like whenever we are handling any biological big data, so first of all, in bioinformatics process, we used to take help of genomics data, right? So whenever we are discussing biological big data, so majorly many of you guys will discuss about like it's a genomics data, and that is really true because one of the genomics data is getting retrieved with respect to the genome of human and other species what you are interested guys. And we all know that the recent news, like now we have genome project of India available in our hand. So that is a really best opportunity for the upcoming researchers to utilize such kind of data sets, where the researchers can utilize the Indian biological data which is available in the form of genome information. So this is the right way to utilize the technology with respect to the right data sets. So that's why we have to know how to exactly use this a bulk of data sets, that is nothing but the comprehensive data, to get the insights and do the biological findings. So biological findings are ultimately playing a role with respect to the drug discovery, biomarker identifications, and definitely in future to design a precision therapies for the same. So in that context, majorly, these are the broader area where data science have a role with respect to the biological data analysis. I hope you all of you are getting the overview regarding the same, right? Moving ahead, what is the role of data science specifically in genomics? So in this particular slides, we are going to see that a quick overview. Like genomics context, we all know that to handle genome data with respect to the sequence technology. And now we have the sequence technology in the form of next generation sequencing. And I hope that many of you have definitely aware about this term, right? So in that context, majorly what exactly the researchers are looking ahead is to design certain personalized medicine, so that we can even look towards a better treatment for the individual genetic profile or the makeup. Now we have enough of data, right guys? So now have to think about how to segregate these data sets and make a standard methodology pipeline to proceed ahead with respect to findings certain kind of precision therapies with respect to the genetic profiles of an individual. And that's why I have taken example in my previous slide is regarding Human Genome Project of India, right? So we have certain data sets in our hand to utilize the genome data and then integrate with respect to the phenotypic findings. The next thing where the data science help us is regarding with genomics is genetic testing, where we can identify the genetic disorders towards the using the advanced sequencing technology. So yeah, definitely we can integrate the in vitro techniques and experimental methods to integrate with respect to the computational approach and use the data science technology with respect to the genetic testing finding. And in that context, we can identify the which are the genetic disorders with respect to the genome as well as the phenome data sets of the individual. Next is nothing but where we can look towards the disease predictions. As we all know guys, like many outbreaks or else the particular new variants are getting, right? So there is a need where the biologists, the data science researchers, and even the bioinformaticians should come ahead and discuss about how exactly we can predict the diseases which are playing a very specific role with respect to calling the variants, right? A new variants or as the particular outbreaks are coming. So in that context, there is a need to understand the genome data and find the particular specific susceptibility towards the disease. And this thing can be happen if you work with respect to the big data and understand those particular specific genotypic as well as the phenotypic study. Okay, so the next thing dealing with respect to the major applications. So ultimately by studying this kind of data sets, we have genomic applications with the data science is nothing but the genome sequencing, right? So data science techniques is used to analyze this kind of sequence. In that context, we can even identify the mutations and understand overall genetic variations according to towards the specific kind of target or the disease what we are looking for. The next thing what we can do is guys is nothing but we can study the comparative genomics, right? And this is exactly what I was to tell is nothing but a right data with respect to the right technology what have to utilize nowadays, right? So comparative genomic study is nothing but where we can compare the genome across the species, and that is possible because we have a technology with respect to the big data analysis, a comprehensive data analysis, and also to process into the meaningful information, we can utilize the cloud computing for the same, right? All of you are agree with me. In that context, we can utilize the comparative genomics with respect to the species level study, where we can identify the evolutionary relationship between the targets and identify the new variants accordingly. And I think the best example is the COVID 19 outbreak, right? Where we are looking for the potential targets to identify, and then accordingly we can compare and study the specific individual genetic makeup by studying the evolutionary relationship. The major application of data science with the genomics is the personalized medicine. As I mentioned, my earlier slide is the same. But in this context, this personalized medicine is helping us to make a proper medical treatments based on the individual genetic makeup, and even to improve the efficacy and reducing the side effects. That is also really important, guys. Remember, nowadays we have enough of informations with respect to the data sets, but still we are finding to get a potential drug targets. Why we are struggling that so? It's nothing but some of the patients who are making certain kinds of adverse effect or as the side effects with respect to the drug. So there is a need to study the individual genetic makeup with respect to the big data and take help of data science where it provides us this specific tools and a technology to process the data in meaningful information. I hope it's fine. Moving ahead, the next thing where the data science play a role is regarding drug discovery. So ultimately, drug discovery is the area where majorly we all are looking to identify the potential drug targets. So in that context, predictive modelings can be done, where we can take help of machine learning algorithms, where it can predict the compounds with respect to how it can interact with respect to their biological targets. It's nothing but where we can design a certain predictive models for the drug targets by studying its drug properties. It can be used even with a high throughput screening, majorly in the drug discovery, where analysis of the large data sets has been done by screening the experimental techniques, right? It's nothing but the specific kind of data which is get processed with respect to the pharmaceutical companies, where lakhs of and millions of drugs is get screened, right? So we need certain technology where the processing can be done in the standard pipelines or as the algorithm context, so that we can identify the potential drug targets based on its specific mechanism. The next thing where the data science play a role in drug discovery is a clinical trial optimization. In that context, where we can utilize the data sets to analyze and even design and monitor the clinical trials into the more efficacy way. So these are the major area where we have to look ahead with respect to the integration of data science with drug discovery application. The next thing is about healthcare innovations. So if this things has been happen, guys, then how exactly we can look towards the healthcare innovations? There's nothing but to come up with the new findings. The healthcare innovations leads with respect to the telemedicines, right? Where the remote consultations and improving the access of care can be done. And today it's possible, definitely, right? Today is possible, but just we have to look towards a proper data to get aligned and look towards a very prescribed findings. The next thing is variable devices. So today we are using variable devices, smart devices with our routine life, and that's why it is possible to monitor the healthcare data with the real time findings, right? The next thing is about AI diagnosis. As we are taking help of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning technology, and even the algorithm to process a vast amount of complex data sets. So ultimately, AI assistance with the data science can help us to enhance the accuracy of disease prediction as well as its diagnosis. So that is how this data science have a really good innovations ahead with the healthcare sector. I hope the things are getting clear, right? Moving ahead with respect to the further slides is about predictive analytics. So while taking help of data science with integration of AI and ML, we can look towards predictive analytics with respect to the disease finding, with respect to any kind of outbreak also. Remember, guys. So in future, if any outbreaks are coming, so definitely we can predict that. So right, so how we are predicting the climate, so in that scenario we can even predict the diseases by the integration of big data, data science, and even with respect to ANML technology by integration of biological data sets, and it is possible, right? The next thing where it can help is regarding electronic health records. As we all know, guys, like whenever to deal with respect to the biological data, so ultimately a large data sets with the phenotypic and cohort populations will come into the picture. So there is a need to process such a huge data, and it gets stored in the standard platforms where we, the researchers who are working in certain data sets, can utilize certain data in the form of repositories and use this electronic health data sets to improve the patient care and even its efficacy. The telemedicines ultimately help us to make them enhance the monitor of the particular patients virtually and providing the consultations for the same. I hope that many of you have definitely even saw different apps are even there, right? If you just visit to the uh, Google App Store, so you will find that many apps are available. Okay, healthcare apps. So even that is also one of the application where the data science and ANML is playing very significant role. So this kind of things we can achieve by this kind integration of certain technology. The major application where the data science is playing a role with biological data is to visualize certain big data sets. By having a best graphical representation, where a complex data can easily represent it in the form of graphs or the charts. So this graph or the charts will help us to identify the patterns and even the correlation between the data sets to come up with more prescribed findings. The next thing what we can do with data visualization is to have a interactive dashboards. Interactive dashboards are nothing but where a real-time data can be captured, it can be monitored, and it can be discussed with respect to the researchers and even the clinicians to go insights about the data. The heat map is again a very best example where the gene expression analysis, high dimensional study, hierarchical clustering, correlation analysis can be done. Whereas where in this particular slide we are going to highlight about some of the challenges in the data science. Remember, guys, like, right? So whenever we are discussing any technique, any tool, or else a novel kind of methods, so there are certain approaches are there, but definitely challenges are even there. But in that context, how to overcome the challenge that can be learn and implement if we discuss about what exactly those challenges are available. So challenges in the form of data quality. So how exactly the data in the form of the curated informations can be retrieved? Okay, if it is in the raw, how we can make a curated data and come up with respect to the meaningful information. So that is a major one challenge with the processing of the big data. The next thing is about the scalability. Scalability is nothing but how exactly we can handle such a comprehensive data with again a meaningful information. It's nothing but if you're handling a sequence data, so it do contain a standard file formats, right? If you're handling any kind of expressions data, if you're handling any kind of drug data, so every data sets have that specific file formats, its specific sizes of data sets, and even its specific information. So handling such a large data will requires a certain database to store the information in a specific meaningful information, right? So that's why this kind of scalability is really important. And definitely the next thing is about interdisciplinary collaborations. So whenever data is being shared, where a clinicians, researchers can be utilized such a data, so there is a need to bridge a gap between the biology and data science where we can come up with respect to very prescribed findings. I hope guys you are getting the points clear, right? The next challenge, which is regarding, is nothing but a quality, which we have discussed. But in that context, the quality of data is get varied based on the type of data sets what you're handling. The next is about the data integration. Okay, so the data integrations are nothing but where you can integrate the data even based on the different technology. As I've discussed in my previous slide, you can integrate the data sets with respect to the AI, ML, big data, right? Machine learning, and even with respect to the bioinformatics tools and the techniques. So in that context, we can combine a vast amount of data with the multiple sources and then even to handle such kind of different file format data to process in a sequence manner. And the other challenge with the data science context in the biology is nothing but ethical considerations. Definitely, some of the data is maybe available in the form of privacy or the control access. To how to utilize the data and address this data, so that is another challenge. But that data can even get processed ahead if you just go with a very standard process. Moving ahead to discuss about the future trends. So ultimately, by studying all the informations over here, definitely it do contain certain future trends, and that's why today we have gathered over here, right, guys? So future trends with respect to the data science and the particular biological information is to integrate AI ML. so that we can move ahead to design more prescribed and predictive findings, where big data can be processed in meaningful information and we can come up with respective very prescribed findings. And majorly in future, by studying all this kind of information with respect to the biological data, we are looking to design a more personalized medicine in future. Okay, more to discuss about data science future trend is nothing but we can integrate AI and ML, where it can play a significant role to automate the data. Okay, like how the artificial technologies are available, right? A smart robots, surgical robots, right? All the things are available. So we need certain kind of algorithms which can automate the data analysis process and enhance the predictive capability. The next thing is collaborative research, where the data science driven biological research can come up ahead and discuss about how the innovations can lead towards a future finding. And ultimately, this overall techniques has been discussed based on the big data technology, where we are getting a certain frameworks to handle a big data and even a massive informations about the informations regarding a meaningful data sets ahead. So the overall conclusions is that there is a need with the data science and biology is to integrate with respect to the advancing techniques and tools, have a future innovations with respect to the healthcare sector and majorly dealing with the genomics data, and it do have more prescribed findings if we just look towards the key collaborations with the data science biological researchers clinicians and much more. So that is all about, guys. So the overall overview is that is nothing but where we can look towards the future discussion about how to collect this data and make a standard platforms where the overall data can be processed into the meaningful information. So that is from my side. I hope that you all of you get introductory insights regarding how data science can help with respect to the biological informations. So I just want to call the next speakers to discuss about the future insights for the same. Thank you, guys.
Hi there. Hello. Can you guys see me? Hi. My name is Indranil, and I work as a senior data scientist in a company called Eli Lilly and Company. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the name. So let me share my screen. And okay, just a sec. Right. Okay. Guys, let me know if you guys can see my screen. All right. Okay. So hi there. So, thank you, Dr. Nilofer, for highlighting the importance of data science. It was very articulated. And let me take you guys through about the skills that are needed for data science in bioinformatics or biology, or healthcare, or in any field related to data science. Okay. Now, what exactly is data science? I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with. Okay. Let me take you through skills. Now, for data science, what is the most fundamental skill that you need to know? That is first applied statistics. Why? Data science is nothing but applied statistics and its principles that we utilize to understand data, to break down complex problems into smaller, simpler problems, and then help patients and their lives. So, in biology, in the field of biology, be it research or be it healthcare, data science has a key fundamental role in helping patient or at least reaching out to patients with proper treatment in the proper time. Right. Now, when it comes to learning the skills of data science, what you really need to know is that programming is not the only thing that you should learn. The first and foremost thing that you should learn is applied statistics. You should also be very good or at least decent good in mathematics. And then the domain you're working on also requires a little bit of expertise, and you should be aware of the domain where you're working. Okay. Now, we can break down the whole skill area for data science into two parts: technical skills and domain knowledge. Okay, now let's start with the technical skills. So, under technical skills, there are various programming languages that can be utilized for data science, but one of the most commonly used languages are R and Python. You can also do your work using SAS. You can also do your work using Julia, but there are other techniques and there are other languages as well that can enable you with the same kind of thing. But as an advisor to you, I would suggest that you stick with R and Python. You start learning R and Python because R and Python are two scientific programming languages. Now, what is the difference between R and Python versus other native programming languages such as Java, C++, and other languages? Well, the difference is that R, Python, and any other such programming languages are scientific programming languages, meaning that they offer you a computational space for scientific calculations. Okay, these programs are purely developed for running statistical models or crunching data or solving complex optimization problems, but they were not developed for you to develop applications or softwares or backend native systems for OS or any other related products, right? So these languages are something which is easy to understand. So if you start learning R and Python, you will pick it up really fast. Okay. Python is an object oriented programming language and R is a vector oriented programming language. But at the end of the day, they do the same job. All right. Now, people who are coming from statistical background will be aware of R. People who are coming from engineering background will be aware of Python. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. Now, sticking to the next part of technical skills. So, when it comes to other areas of technical skills, it is advised that you start with statistics, and from statistics, you go on to machine learning and then AI. It is very imperative and it's very important that you stick to this particular sequence because learning machine learning first and then going into statistics will not help you because machine learning algorithms are nothing but statistical learning techniques automated over computer science. All right. That means every machine learning algorithm that you are going to encounter will have statistical hypotheses, statistical principles, and statistical techniques embedded in them at their backend. So, in order to truly understand them or be able to utilize them for your future purposes for solving problems or breaking down problems or developing patient persona or anything, you will require the in-ground idea of statistics. Right. Now, in statistics, where should you start off? You should definitely start off with descriptive statistics followed by probability theory. Why? Because this lays the foundations of utilizing applied statistics. Okay. And once you're done with that, followed by machine learning, you should start moving on to AI because there are many such algorithms such as large language models, convolutional neural networks, artificial neural networks, recurrent neural networks, a lot of deep learning models, lot of neural networks, multi-layer perceptrons, large language models, autoencoder decoder. All these models are there who are enabling you to do your job a lot faster, a lot more robust, and they're offering you the next level onto the world of data science. There are various applications that are coming up for large language models and generative AI. I know we don't have enough scope for enough time in this particular session to discuss them, but in today's world, we are moving really fast, and the pace at which we are adapting technology to help patients is pretty robust and it's pretty powerful. All right. Now, moving on. The other technical skills that you should utilize or at least understand is data visualization, which I'm pretty sure Dr. Nilofer has covered pretty well. But if you guys want to start off with things, you should start off with something simpler. For example, Tableau. Or if you are, let's say, working on R or Python, and if you want to understand visualization at least in a graphic way, then you can definitely start from matplotlib and Seaborn in Python and ggplot in R. All right. Now, what are the tools for biological data analysis? Now, before I jump into something like this, I want to highlight one thing. In any biological science, like be it research or be it a product based company or a pharma company, it's not just about developing patients, but it's also about discovering newer ways how to help patients. Data science has the ability to work phenomenally well in both the areas. All right. Now, moving on to the domain knowledge. Okay. Applied statistics and mathematics. It is pretty obvious that you should have a strong foundation in both of them. Now, if let's say you are working in a healthcare company, but you're not into drug development, let's say you are into the commercial aspect of it, or you're into the business aspect of it, or you're into helping patients, and there are other aspects to a pharmaceutical company as well, then you should be aware, you should be also having a degree in economics or business understanding of the area, or the best part would be if you have a foundation in computer science fundamentals. All right, moving on. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's say if let's say you are willing to start your journey in R and Python. Okay, how would you do it? It's pretty obvious. R and Python are open source programming languages That means you can download them for free. They have large communities where every day newer studies are being developed, and newer packages and the upgrades are being developed and being shared with the world free of cost. Right. That means you can download both of them and you can start all by yourself. If you reach out to Kaggle, you will see there are a lot of data sets that will enable you to practice data science or at least data wrangling using these two languages. You will get the data for free. You'll also get a good problem statement there as well. All right. Now, statistics, machine learning, and AI. Now, let's say you're working into biological sciences, and let's say you have started working in R or Python. Okay. Now, I just want to highlight one thing, that even though both the languages perform very well, people who are coming from applied statistics background will find R relatively stronger or a lot more relative to understand when they are working with biological data or statistical inferences. All right. Now, if we want to understand like how can we actually leverage machine learning or AI, then you could always start your journey from supervised unsupervised learning, given that you have already studied applied statistics. Now, if you're completely new in this area, then I would suggest that you spend at least 3 to 4 months learning applied statistics. Not everything, I know it's not possible, but at least have a jot down, have a list of items that is relevant for you to at least understand machine learning algorithms. Now, if you don't have such a list of items, I'm pretty sure this community can help you. But if you do, I would suggest you start from statistics. You clear your ground, you lay your foundation very properly, and then you switch on to machine learning algorithms. In machine learning algorithms, I would suggest you start with supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms. They will enable you to understand how machine learning algorithm works and what are the different type of problems in general can be solved using machine learning algorithms. Again, the key takeaway from this particular slide is that you should be very well aware of what you're doing. Okay, and at the same time, you should be very well aware of how, or rather you should expose yourself to a lot of different type of problem statements that can arise via these machine learning algorithms. Like for example, a different type of problems in healthcare that can be solved using machine learning algorithms. And moving on from machine learning algorithms, if you want to move on to AI, like I know it's a huge task, but if you want to move on to AI, I would suggest you start your journey with ANN, artificial neural networks. Just because generative AI is very popular, I will not suggest you guys to directly jump onto something like that, because cherry picking in data science while learning is extremely dangerous. All right, now moving on to data visualization. Now, why is data visualization coming up every time we are discussing data science? So, let me make it a little bit clearer with an example. Suppose, let's say, you are developing a product, okay, in healthcare. It could be anything. All right. Now, the end result of the product needs to reach out to either a business stakeholder, or it needs to reach out to a certain community of people who are going to utilize your result for the betterment of patients, right? Now, if in order for them to do that, they will need a tool, be it a drag and drop tool, or be it a drop down tool, or be it any kind of a dashboard or a visualization tool that gives them an interactive way to understand the output in a very fast manner. They should be able to consume their output just like that. Okay, so that is why data visualization comes into place. There are various ways to start your journey. If you want to start your journey in data visualization from a product or like from a tool, then I would definitely suggest you start with Tableau. It's relatively simpler to understand, and you'll get a very niche idea. Also, also the data dashboards, the dashboards that we create are very pretty. If you look at Tableau, okay, from Tableau you can start learning Power BI. If you don't want to learn Power BI, then after learning Tableau, which is relatively simpler, you can go on learning visualization tools in R and Python. For example, in Python, we have Matplotlib and Seaborn. Seaborn is an advanced wrapper over Matplotlib, so learning any one of them will suffice. Okay, but in R, you should be aware of ggplot2. They perform the same things in two different languages. And data visualization or building dashboards is extremely important. Okay, it's not necessary for you to learn all of them, but it's at least advisable that you understand, or are you at least able to develop dashboards, at least in your computational environment. And when I say computational environment, I'm referring to while you're working on R and Python. Okay, now, okay, right. Now there are various tools for biological data analysis. Okay, now depending upon the type of journey that you are following, okay, the type of area or the practice that you're coming from, you will have various tools for biological data analysis. Okay, now I want to also highlight few things as well for the people who are not coming from this community, people who are coming from different community as well. So if you're not coming from a biological science community, if you're coming from a quant community, like for example, statistics, mathematics, economics, or computer science, then it is also advisable that you start learning tools like R and Python, because your aspect in a pharmaceutical company or healthcare is going to be widely different from people who are running or developing drugs. So, in any company, in any community of biological sciences, there are various aspects. So, you can see there are certain popular tools listed in front of you, but again, these are purely for research. Okay, for scientific computations, we have R and Python. But if people are not coming from this community, people who are willing to work for the commercial aspect or in the other aspects of healthcare, then they should also start learning statistics, economics, and mathematics. All right, moving on. Okay, right. Now, let's start talking about applied statistics and mathematics. All right. So, when we talk about applied statistics and mathematics, we are not asking you to learn everything from scratch. What you need to understand is that you should be able to leverage, you should have enough knowledge to understand statistics and apply them on simpler problems to make sense. From that point onwards, you should start growing your knowledge and move on to regression analysis, probability distributions, principal component analysis, or clustering algorithms slowly. You should ramp up slowly. So, my advice would be that you start from applied statistics, you go hop on to probability theory, and then you hop on to supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms. All right. Okay. Economics and business understanding. Every pharmaceutical company wants to reach out to their patients to help them so that they can benefit from our medicines. Right. Now, economics and business understanding is also very crucial. Just by developing drugs, we cannot solve a problem. After developing any drug, we also need to figure out the most efficient and friendly way and a patient-friendly way to patient-friendly way to enable our patients to reach out to our drugs, or at least enable them with our healthcare medicines. Right. So having a deeper sense of economics or business understanding is also extremely crucial. Right. Now, computer science fundamentals. Now, if you're working with big data, like if you're working with a lot of data, then it is also advisable that you start learning data crunching languages or data querying languages. Like, for example, SQL, MySQL, NoSQL, or for example, Hive, and like on platforms like Snowflake, right? Because this is because like it's not always that you will be working on R and Python. At times, you will be needed to look into data structures, into different sources of data to integrate them, to apply algorithms on top of them, and then develop products that could yield results. Okay. Now, in computer science, under this particular area, I would suggest that people who are coming from this background should also ramp up their knowledge in the areas of SQL, and also should look into areas of cloud computing, because with the passage of time, healthcare and on all the other industries, and at the same time, everything in this world is adapting cloud-based technologies. Okay, so it's also crucial that students who are coming from computer science should also look into cloud computing platforms and their trainings as well. All right, now, okay, molecular biology, genetics, and bioinformatics. Okay, so people who are coming from this particular background should also be very much aware of molecular biology, also, and at the same time, they should also focus on drug development strategies, and they should also keep themselves aware of what is going on in the world, what are the most recent discoveries and developments going on. All right, because there's a lot to gain in this arena. The reason is that data science has been enabling different parts of healthcare in a rapid proportion, and as a result of which, what happens is that like we are developing, or let's say we are discovering a lot of new ways to help people. So I would suggest that it's better, like if you guys are aware of what's going on in the world. Okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, I think we have covered this. Okay, right. So, healthcare analytics. In this particular arena, why is healthcare analytics important and how can you contribute to it using data science? So, predictive modelings are a crucial aspect in the healthcare analytics. The reason is that how are we helping patients? How are patients benefiting from our products or our medicine? If we have to understand, then we have to leverage predictive models, we have to leverage probability theory, we have to leverage data science and machine learning algorithms in various ways to understand the cause and effect, to understand how we are leveraging to understand how our patients are benefiting. And for that case, healthcare analytics is a new area where data science is contributing rapidly. So there is nothing separate that you should learn for this. It's just that you should focus on the very basics, which are applied statistics, mathematics, and then machine learning algorithms in general. The better you are laying the foundations now, the better you'll be able to contribute in these kind of problem statements or this kind of arena of healthcare. All right, moving on. Pharmaceutical R&D. I think we have already covered, but let's talk a little about here, a little more about in under this topic. So AI has been enabling research and development for drugs in a rapid proportion, not just for drugs. R&D in every other aspect in a pharmaceutical company has been very crucial using data science. Data science has been enabling in various ways. Okay, like for example, AI-based drug repurposing strategies, virtual screening and computational drug design, and simulation of drug targeted interactions. Right. So there are various arenas where pharmaceutical companies can utilize data science to expedite R&D. Now, okay, resources to learn. Well, I think these courses and I think these are the resources will be shared to you via mail or maybe through this community via the channel. Okay, these are the certain certifications which are valuable, but then again, certifications are not the only thing. You should have good enough depth in you. Your concept should be very crystal clear. A certificate only tells us about your learning. In an interview, it's always imperative, or rather, it's very important what can you bring to the table in an interview. So make sure you are crystal clear in your topics. Never keep any doubt piled up. Whenever in doubt, always reach out to your mentor, your advisor, your teacher, your SME, whoever is responsible for teaching you. Please reach out to them in case of any doubts, because piling up doubts in this arena can lead to bigger problems. And these are certain materials. Okay, so the conclusion and future outlook is that data science and AI is the new stepping stone in mastering healthcare. So the future of healthcare is pretty robust, and we are exploring arenas using data science. So these skills are the skills that are going to enable a better healthcare in the world, and it's better that you start learning now because this will enable you to have a good career in future. All right. So thank you for joining today's session. I will hand over my this session to the next speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Indranil. It was a great insight for all the students, I reckon. Thank you, and I will take up from here. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. And I would like to thank Biotechnica for having me for this particular webinar. And I would also like to extend my thanks to all the speakers that have spoken before me, as well as to the speakers coming after me as well. Okay, so let us share my screen, and then I will talk to you on the further things that are there. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully everyone can see. Yeah, can anyone confirm? Is it visible? Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible. Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so basically we have understood till now that what is the overview of AI, what are the things that can be done using AI, and how to get started in this particular field by utilizing your abcds of your AIML, that is your knowledge of certain languages like your Python and R, using visualization tools like your matplotlib, and likewise, and post that we also have learned about what are the things to focus upon. So once you get those knowledges, okay, so once you get through all those things, so afterwards, obviously the main aim of yours is to get started with a career in this particular field. So today my topic is to guide you through that what are the career options in that, and what are the opportunities that you can grasp hold. As well as we will be also talking about how to get to the communities, and how you can solve the errors, how you can deal with the problems that are there, okay, that you are encountering in this particular field. Okay, so let's begin without further ado. So my name is Pradit Banerjee, and so let's get started with today's topic, that is your career paths and opportunities in data science for biologists. Okay, so yeah, so first things first, that what are the top career roles that you can choose as a biologist when coming to the data science, how you can integrate the data science with biology. Okay, so there are multiple career options, although all of them cannot be covered in this particular time frame that we have. So we'll be discussing upon or touching upon some of them. Okay, so first is your bioinformatics scientist or bioinformatician. Basically, whenever you want to analyze at multiomics, like multiomics data you want to analyze, be it the data can vary in like from like many of the experiments that are there. Okay, so it can vary in multifolds, but anyways we are going at the molecular level, and we want to analyze the multiomics data. What multiomics data contains: basically genomic data, epigenetic data, then you have your transcriptomic data, proteomic data, and metabolomic data. As you understand, omics basically means the learning of that particular field, that is your study of like genome would be called as your genomics, then likewise the study of your transcriptome would be called as transcriptomics, and proteomics and metabolomics likewise. Okay, so multiomics level analysis one by one also it can be done, as well as the integration of all the multiomics level can also be taken up together to analyze and to get some tangible results out of it. Okay, so and then obviously when you are a bioinformatics scientist, your role also becomes to go into the depth of the things, and to do the publication of the things, to get onto the R&D part of the things. Okay, and as a bioinformatician also, you want to analyze the data in a very precise manner. And what are the things that data science gives us, okay, as a biologist? Okay, so basically whenever we are utilizing data science, we want to cut short upon the time, and we want to go higher on the accuracy front. Okay, so that is the main thing, that is why we are integrating data science with biology. Okay, and second thing is obviously whenever we are handling too much of a data, so it becomes integral for us that we can automate the process instead of doing it manually. Okay, so that is the main reason. Okay, then coming on to the next career option that is there, that is your clinical data scientist. Okay, so you can handle the clinical data, because clinical data is a big part of your life science altogether. Okay, so you can do the clinical data management like by like what do you say, uh, like following a particular workflow of handling EHRs, that is your electronic health records, or like different phases of trials, preclinical trials, then you have different phases of trials, like the data scattering of the your what do you say, different kind of clinical data that is there. Okay, like then you can go for optimization of the diagnostics that is there, then you can go for personalized medicine. Obviously personalized medicine and personalized treatment, for that you will need the genomic insight as well. And genomic data is what do you say, very big data. So for analyzing those, if we can automate that particular process, that would be great. Okay, so that is why clinical data scientist or clinical data management analyst is another option that we have. Okay, post that we can also look for medical or biotech data analysis. Same goes with whenever we are handling the data related to medical things. Okay, or it can be from the raw data from hospitals that are there, or like imaging data, histopathological data, like in the previous webinars also we have discussed that we can leverage convolutional neural networks to analyze or to train our machine learning algorithm to look for the cancer types, how the cancer will progress. Okay, so then likewise what is the staging of the cancer, this that. Okay, so those things also we can do. things can be done. Okay, so then streamlining the whole laboratory processes and going on for the further R&D workflow that can happen. We can automate that particular thing. Okay, so that the human intervention is less in that. Okay, so moving on to the further part of the things, obviously, academician is another option. A researcher, academician, you want to spread your knowledge, how much knowledge you have gained through your experiments. Okay, you can obviously what do you say, mentor PhD students to come in that particular field. You can obviously do the R&D and publish paper, so that you can also help your country to progress in the science. Okay, that is also a perspective. Apart from that, also you can do your obviously research publication, knowledge distribution. Those things are all the things that we handle under your academia and as well as your research front. Okay, then you can be a computational biologist or a NGS data analyst. Okay, so next gen sequencing data analyst, it can be many kind of data. You can handle like exomic data, whole genome data. Okay, or like a particular like a hub gene data you are analyzing. Okay, likewise, so those things can be done. NGS data analysis, where you can know about the variance analysis you can do. Okay, evolutionary biology analysis can be done. Then your model disease pathway, so or where the where the malfunction in that particular genome has happened, because of which the cascade of reactions that follows, okay, or the cascade of things that follows are hindered. Okay, so that we can analyze. Okay, further we can go for drug interaction. Okay, drug target interaction, protein protein interaction, that are their PPI networks we can analyze. Then we can have your genomic insights. So basically at multi-omics level, we can come up with many analysis that are there. I'm not getting into the depth of all of those things because of the time constraints that we have. Okay, so further, you can, it is not that only molecular based data or the biochemical based data can be analyzed. We can also move to multiple tangents that are there in life science, like your agri-tech data analysis. So at the end of it, data science is there to analyze the data. Okay, so big data, okay, you can analyze in a better and better way. So whenever the data is from biology, so that is the integration of data science with biology. If the data is from like chemistry, so it will be chemistry integrated with data science. So the data science has its application in all of the fields that are out there. Okay, so likewise. Okay, so agri tech data specialist you can be. Okay, so predicting crop yield using climates, using different of your like supervised and unsupervised algorithms that are there. Okay, so then you have like genomic data analysis. Obviously we have talked about that enough. Okay, so that is all about your career options that we see. Okay, so although there are more, but as I have already said, that we'll be highlighting some of the main ones. Okay, so then coming on to high demand industries. So which are the industries that require such expertise? Okay, so first is your pharma and biotech. Goes without saying that whenever we are talking about drug discovery, multi-omics data analysis, clinical trials, we are talking about pharma sector as well as your biotech sector. Okay, so that can be taking the help of this particular expertise. Okay, further we obviously have healthcare, in which healthcare means not only based on the medical professionals, but also the data which are handled by the what do you say at the managerial level as well. Okay, so your electronic health records. Okay, then precision medicine if you are going for, then wearable devices. Okay, so that have biosensors that can monitor the data, but obviously you have to categorize the data or classify the data based on that. Okay, you will be coming on to some tangible results that can be shown to that particular person, because at the end of the day, everyone is not a what do you say AI enthusiast, or he or she will be understanding that particular thing. So you have to present the data in a format so that it is understandable by common man as well. Okay, so because we are trying to streamline the process for the common people to understand it in a better way. Okay, so at the background, whatever may be going. Okay, so that is for the experts to do, like us. Okay, but for a common man, you have to present the data in a way that it is understandable by a common man as well. Okay, so then coming on to your agriculture sector, obviously gene editing analysis, then pest disease prediction. Okay, so those things can be automated using your obviously there are multiple algos that can be utilized for the same. Okay, like your random forest and this that. Okay, that are there. Then obviously academia and research, obviously that is there for all of the, what do you say, fields that are there. Okay, and AI is not what do you say, apart from this. Okay, AI also have that. So AI driven multi-omics data analysis, biodiversity studies, that can be done. So some of them are mentioned. Obviously research can be done in multiple tangents. Okay, so yeah, then we should know basically. So once we get the idea about what are the high demand industries, what are the career options, after that we should know that what are the companies where we can apply for the same. Okay, so being a end user of it, or like obviously you are trying to build a career in this. Okay, so you need to apply to those companies. Okay, so our previous speaker is from one of those companies which take the leverage of your data science into perspective. That is why we have such a speaker by our side today. That is Eli Lilly and Company. Okay, so but we'll also be talking about some of the companies which utilizes this and how they are utilizing. Will be coming on to that. Okay, so first is your so these are the 10-15 companies that I have enlisted over here that utilizes data science for analyzing biological data. Okay, so first is your DeepMind that like most of you must be aware of right now. Okay, so that is DeepMind from Google or Alphabet, you can say. Okay, so they have developed your AlphaFold that is used for your protein structure prediction. Everyone knows that, and it can have a resemblance with the what do you say, experimentally validated structure up to 98%. Okay, if you superimpose them. Okay, so that is very good. Okay, apart from that, you can also they have also developed basically alpha missense. So if you want to analyze variance at the proteomic level, so alpha missense can help you with that. Okay, so then you have your IBM's Watson, that is a supercomputer, as we know. So IBM Watson's Health is there. So that is specifically targeted for the biological data analysis, particularly for your drug discovery. That is your computer aided drug designing. Because in computer aided drug designing, although computer aided drug designing has cut short the time of what do you say, initial virtual screening and on by a fair margin already, but we can utilize AI ML tools to further fasten that particular process. Okay, that what we are doing nowadays. Okay, then you have Nvidia Clara. Okay, so Nvidia, as you know, that they are like super giants in developing computer chipsets and supercomputers. That is what we actually need when we are going for your what do you say, handling big data. Then your neural networks, when we are talking about any kind of deep learning methods that we are utilizing, because that uses a whole lot of memory that is there. Okay, and if you are running simulations also. Okay, so when we are talking about your drug discovery, we should not forget about dynamic simulations. So with the advent of more of your what is supercomputers, chipsets, more AI algorithms that can handle the simulation data in a better way, and we can do even millisecond simulation with ease. Okay, so obviously Nvidia's main thing is to power with GPU accelerated tools. Okay, so that is their USP. Then you have benevolent AI, so that is working also in the what do you say, tangent of your drug discovery, targeting complex disorders like your neurodegenerative disorders such as your amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, as you can see. Okay, over here. So then you have Parkinson's. Okay, so they have partnered with AstraZeneca. Okay, so that is already a pharmaceutical giant, as you know. Okay, then you have Recursion Pharmaceuticals. So I will go fast on this because I'm not diving deep into all of the companies that are there. Okay, so you should know about the company so that you can go to the company's website and learn more that what they are using and how they are utilizing AI, as well as you can apply to the job boards, or like you can directly go to the company's website to apply if you are a subject expert for that, if you gain the knowledge that all other speakers have already told you about. Okay, so Recursion Pharmaceuticals utilizes a combination of AI and robotics to come up with a high throughput CADD. Okay, that is there. And they are mostly working upon rare disease. Rare disease are what? If it is happening in less than 1% of the world population, it is considered as a rare disease. Okay, so then you have Tempus. Okay, so that is again a startup. So okay, so they are utilizing it for your personal medicine and personal cancer care. Okay, that is there, and for identifying biomarkers for cancer. Okay, then you have Extentia. So they are also utilizing AI platforms to develop new, what do you say, new type of molecules. So first AI design molecules also they have provided for the, which has like gone for the clinical trials. Okay, so that is there. Then you have Schrodinger, like Schrodinger, pardon. Okay, Schrodinger, so that is a pioneer in the drug discovery sector. We already know. So Schrodinger is also utilizing AI-based tools, okay, to come up with your simulations and your like automating the process of CADD that is out there. Okay, so from the drug discovery sector, we have so many companies utilizing AI, because drug discovery process, the whole process is a very a bigger one. Okay, so that is why if we can automate that particular process from designing your molecule at first, identifying the leads from the lead library selection, then coming on to your virtual screening, docking, simulation, and likewise those things. Okay, yeah. So you already have heard of some of the tools from Schrodinger, like your PyMol is already there. So that is not AIML based. I'm just making you familiar with the tools that Schrodinger provides. Okay. So like your PyMol for your visualization that you have, then your for docking you have your Glide, then Desmond for your simulation that they already provide, but they are coming up with the AIML based tools that are there. Like your AI to BMD is there for your simulations. Okay, and likewise. Okay, so and then there are so many deep learning based tools for your docking that are there. Okay, so yeah, then like integrating AI, like Illumina is again a pioneer in biotech sector already. So they are also utilizing AI for understanding genomics better, because they have their sequencers. Obviously, third generation sequences are likewise. Okay, second generation sequences, third generation sequences. So they also want to utilize AI so that the sequencing data analysis can be further fastened. Okay, or without the human intervention, it can be done, or initially the automate some of the process out there. Okay, so then you have Genentech from Roche. Okay, they are also utilizing it for drug discovery purposes. Then you have Verily from your Alphabet, the same company that owns Google. Okay, so they are also into precision medicine and then disease monitoring. Okay, biomarker identification. Okay, then you have DNA Nexus that is there, so which utilizes your cloud-based AIML platform to analyze obviously genomic data, multiomics data, and it is used by some of the pioneer institutes out there like your UK Biobank and likewise. Okay, so then you have 10x genomics, pardon. Okay, 10x genomics that leverages AI for single cell and like spatial genomic analysis that is out there. Then Pfizer, another pharmaceutical giant, they are also collaborating. So it is like some of them are being mentioned, but Dr. Reddy's in India are also utilizing that. Sun Pharma is also having that. Okay, then you have your Agnita life sciences that is also utilizing those things. Okay, then you have Okintech that is also there. So they are like having a combination approach with applying a combined approach of like your machine learning and your like with your biomedical research to focus upon cancer and cardiovascular disease disorders that are there. Okay, so then coming on to some of the emerging opportunities that are there, obviously synthetic biology. So let's get a pen by your side for the ease. Okay, so synthetic biology. Okay, so for designing organisms using machine learning. Okay, so for example, you can utilize it in the biofield production and optimization of those. Then AI in genomics, not only in genomics but also in your multiomics. But particularly in genomics, you can work with like data analysis, CRISPR. Okay, so CRISPR, then your CRISPR outcome prediction, rare disease or rare variants prediction and detection, and to come up with a drug for those. Okay, so those things are there. Okay, then you have public health, so epidemic modeling or prediction of those things, how the pathogen will spread, and likewise that is also that was also utilized when the COVID-19 hit. Okay, so likewise. Okay, so then we can also know about some of the like startups which are like doing the same thing. Okay, so I'll just discuss about two or three startups that are doing very well in this particular field. Okay, first is your Incitro. Okay, so you can see what are they focusing upon. That is your machine learning for your like drug discovery as well as predictive disease modeling. Okay, so and they are backed by the pharmaceutical giants like your Bristol Myers and Scopes. Okay, then they have raised this much fund also. Okay, in Series C. Okay, that you can see. Then you have your Generate Biomedicines. Okay, so they also utilizes AI for protein therapeutics. that are out there. Okay, then they are also backed by flagship pioneering your the same company that what do you say funded Moderna. Okay, so they have also a funding of your 370 million in Series B. Okay, total 370 in your M Series B. Like the data is from 2021. Okay, and total of like 673 million plus. Okay, then you have your Okin Tech. Okay, so Okin basically works in again we have talked about it. Okay, just now. Okay, so learning from the biomedical research, and they're focusing upon cancer genomics as well as cardiovascular diseases. Okay, collaborating with Sanofi and BMS that you already know of this particular companies. Okay, so they have also raised a very good fund in the Series B. The data is still 2022. Sorry, they have raised the fund in 2022. Okay, so yeah, then you have your deep genomics. Okay, that focuses mostly upon your RNA therapeutics and like genetic medicine. Okay, and they are backed by SoftBank. Everyone must be knowing SoftBank is a very highly rated company when it comes to funding. Okay, and they have raised a fund of 180 million plus USD. Okay, so in their Series B on like 2K21. Okay, then you have Value Health. Okay, so that is a data centric again drug discovery they do for your cardiovascular disorder, metabolomic analysis, and metabolomic diseases that are there. Okay, and they are also backed by pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer and Lux Capital. Okay, so and they have also raised a fund of more than 300 million plus USDs. Okay, so yeah, so now we have talked much about your companies and what are the career option. Now we should know that how to do the transition successfully. Okay, being a fresher. So first thing is to upskill or to upgrade yourself. Okay, so first, if you don't have any idea of it, obviously you need to learn those from the certification course. Okay, like Biotechnica also provides some certification course, like your we are upcoming with like some of the courses like your data science for biologist. Okay, and we already have some courses running for if you don't have a knowledge about your coding, then you can join coding for biologist. If you don't have a knowledge about the basic AI stuff or to the advanced also like CNN and likewise. Okay, then you can join our AIML course in biology. Okay, and then data science, which encompasses all of them together. Okay, so those courses can be taken up not only from Biotechnica. There are multiple fields out there. Okay, so which provides a similar course, but yeah, so Biotechnica are one of the pioneers in that. Okay, then you have your LinkedIn. Okay, so LinkedIn for networking purposes. Okay, LinkedIn learning also you can use prompt to search for the if you want to apply for some what do you say jobs and all. Okay, so LinkedIn can be handy for you. Then obviously publication is always helpful. Okay, so there it also helps with networking. You can know more like-minded people, more researchers, mentors in this particular field. Okay, so publication always helps, okay, to get you a job as well. Okay, then build projects. So obviously getting a hands-on thing is always helpful. Okay, so in that also Biotechnica can help you. Apart from that, you can also take up live projects from many of the what do you say platform that are out there, like your Kaggle is there. Okay, then your GitHub is a repository where you can take up certain projects and work on that. Okay, then like for example genomic prediction challenges. Okay, geo annotation data analysis. Then from GEO you can like gene expression universe, you can take the raw NGS data and analyze. You can train your machine learning model to like what you say streamline that particular process. Obviously for those you have to read good papers also that are there. Okay, like your Nature, Cell Science. Okay, likewise. Okay, then networking, as I have already told you, LinkedIn and publication are one form of networking. Apart from that, you can join communities related to your bioinformatics, AIML groups that are out there. Okay, or if you are encountering any error in your whatever you're handling, you can always go to your mentors, or you can go to the GitHub pages. Okay, there the experts are there to help you out on that particular front. Biotechnica experts are also there to help you on that particular tangent. Okay, so for example your like bioinformatics stack like stack exchange is there. Then you have LinkedIn groups. Okay, so multiple platforms. Then your biotech like what do you say biotech parks that are there. Okay, so most probably we can soon also have your bioinformatics and AI based like parks also. Okay, for biological research. referring to. Okay, then you have how to apply strategically. Okay, obviously prompt search in your LinkedIn, and then directly going onto the job website, job boards you can apply from, like directly going on to the, what do you say, company's website you can apply there also. Okay, or you can reach out to the HRs via any of the social media platforms, like professional social media platforms like LinkedIn. Okay, for example, like research data analysis in biotech. So this is just an example how you can like target. Okay, so yeah, so that is all from my side. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining the session of today. Okay, so last but not the least, I will try to conclude this with a quote that our biology background is our superpower, and we can pair it with data science to shape the future. Okay, because data science is the future, and we have to merge the data science with biology to look for our future as well. That is all from my side. Thank you, and I would invite the next speaker to shed his knowledge to our students. Thank you.
Thanks, Pradyot, and thanks to the previous speakers also for giving such a valuable information. I can imagine myself around 5 7 years back looking for spaces like this to know how to start getting into data science, how to get into biology. Because I started my career from electrical engineering, and I had really no idea of what is data science, how to write algorithms, or what is biology, what are the things in it, what are the problem statements. I had zero knowledge or no clue, but just I had the interest, so I started building block by block, and finally I've landed out a career in biology, data science, and AI. So so this is something I think, guys, really very valuable and true insights they have shared with you. The topics or whatever the things that they have put on in presentations. It's very very valuable. You will have no clue until you are in the part of the game, or once you are inside a job. So I'm really. I would like to thank all the three of them behalf of you for giving it. Anyway, so I'll just start briefly uh, about my journey in data science, and especially with biology, how I got interest in it, and then what were the things that were quite helpful for me in leading to what I wanted to become, and what was the aim, and how I moved towards that. So I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible enough. Uh, if not, please let me know. I'll just wait for a minute until I get a go ahead sign.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
So right. So as I've told you, I'm from an electrical background. So I really had no clue what data science and what biology. In fact, I didn't even have a clue that they both can be interlinked, and there's a lot of scope and wide variety of problems. So I would probably summing up the earlier speakers have said, but in my own way of journey. So the I when I was seeing certain problem statements in biology, especially at that time, my interest was building simulation tools using MATLAB, and that's how I started into modeling. And then I found out that there's a lot of scope of modeling and simulation tools within the biology, and many problems are being not even been approached to answer or something like that. So that's how I moved on to computational neuroscience, where I started building neural networks. I started to analyze simulations of single cell recordings, clamp recordings, and so on. So I split the problem into three challenges, into three buckets, I would say. First one was a technical background. The second one was the domain specific background, and then what are the how are my competitors, or what is the competition outside. So these three buckets were I organized the problems in these three buckets, and I started to address one after other. So basically, I will tell you how did I approach it. Okay, so first I saw that you need a very good programming skill. uh, because without programming you cannot write any small software or some any logical application that would reach out to the masses or the commercial market. So that is quite very important, is what I've understood. And then the domain specific is the second one, where we have to be able to infer what is the data or what is the knowledge is trying to drive on from. There are a lot different kinds of data, so every data has its own constraints and depth, and it's better we know it, and we should also know the restrictions and the constraints of the data. And then third, I started looking at my peers and my competitors, how they were doing in their different office spaces, even though they were not in my domain. But if they were using the same tools or technicalities, I started to look at them, and I was trying to grade myself, like how far I am and how much fast I have to run to, to catch up with them. So coming back to the technical the challenges, when they say programming, people suggest Python, R, C, C++, and everything, but the fundamental is the data structure, because you really have to know how to define certain aspects. You should know very simple concepts like what is a variable, what is a class, what is a list, how they have been used, and what is a program structure, and what is how to write a proper code. Because nowadays, if you see, there are a lot of online tools where you can just give a prompt and that will give you the entire code base, but that is not the actual code that that is being used in the companies or in any other production or use case purposes. The program has to be very structured, very readable, reusable, and it has to attain or attend lot of exceptions that are not on the paper when you form the idea. So for example, say I want to drink a water. Say this is a use case, and I'm writing a program for this, but I have to ensure that the bottle must be present. What if the bottle is not present? How much of water should be filled? What happens if the water fills over a glass and falls down on the table? So all these kind of things we have to write in attend. So when it comes to programming, think it like a set of instructions. Write a have a habit of writing pseudocode flowcharts, just to make your idea in a very proper and structured way. That will help you quite in a long term. I mean, this is what I've observed, and this is what has helped me over past time. And then go on to see how the data sets have been called, and sometimes there are websites that offer data sets just like that, but sometimes there would be data sets in a very specific formats. Some would be present in certain databases. So every database has its own again functionality and concepts around it. Like there's something called NoSQL data, MongoDB, something called a structured data SQL, and there are many variants in it. So try to learn one on one, but master any one database, one language, and one a bunch of algorithms that have been commonly used or asked in interviews or something like that. Start with that. Start with something very fundamental, but ensure that you are growing delta wise compared to everyday process. So then when I'm coming to the domain based knowledge, the sequencing data has a different kind of constraints. Medical data, image data has a different kind of constraints. Certain times you will have signals from medical devices which you will be given to analyze, so that has to be treated and understood in a very different way. Above all, there would be certain ethical constraints, and there would be certain privacy issues, that some of this data cannot be used for for any commercial or a production purpose. At that time, you cannot use this data just to train your model, or build a program, or a statistical program to just learn towards it. So you have to really understand how the data is collected, what was the experiment or what was the study, how what are the constraints involved during the experiment process, and then you have to you kind to look the data in given every possible aspect. Even though you may not work in every corners in an office, sometimes you would be just visualizing it, sometimes you would be just building it, but you have to know how the data has been collected, what kind of flaws the data has, what are the formats of data, what are the details that are coming with data, what details are not coming with data. So every aspect you have to know, and these aspects are what help you to get better insights about the model. Because nowadays, if you see, many people use SAS, many people use ML algorithms, and they get the output. But once you get the output, you should be able to interpret it. You should be interpreted in such a way that it would be understood by a person who is in a non-biology domain. So you can't expect everybody, when you're meeting clients or in the office spaces, to know biology, right? Only few, like few people expertise in that domain, learn about it, spend time and gain knowledge about it. But others, they may be from the very different domains. They would have mastered a very different knowledge or everything. So you can't expect them to have the same skill or technical data that you have. So you have to interpret and infer it in such a way that it is understood to the most minimal person having the least knowledge in that area. So for that, your foundations should be very very strong, because you have to really put it in a very simple, not a complicated terms, but in a very simple and a very structured way, so that they understand what the data is, what it is trying to convey, and now what we can do with it. Because data science doesn't mean just building, doing some statistical analysis. That is not data science. Data science is deriving a story, or deriving a knowledge and building upon it. How can this knowledge be transformed into a very useful purpose? So all those things are are being covered in that arena. Even though you may not collect the data, you may not design a study, but yet it is your duty that you have to be very, I would say, responsible enough and attentive enough to know these minute details, because this is what will help you to say what kind of a data it is and how this can be used. And as I've told you earlier, look at your your peers, your friends who are already in a very IT background or a software background, or in a very different industrial background. Uh, an example I would like to give you. Okay, so I worked in a medical device company, and in the devices we used to assemble the hardware, and we used to write the firmwares for that, so that the signal would be grasped or acquited from the patient, and we can see the patient records and so on. So for the naming of the components, we actually called up an automobile engineer in the Tata Motors, and then we asked how do they do it, because they also assemble a kind of a product, and they have IDs for every small part of the car. So we followed a similar, a technique in naming the components and everything. This is because every device is unique of its own. Even though they use all the chips and everything, but still every device is unique of its own. And whatever data you are getting from the device, where you have to go back and refer, okay, this had they used this so and so sensors, and this sensors had this kind of a problem, or we had a previous firmwares over the sensors or something like that. And you will get to know only when the complete structure has been formed. So don't limit yourself only interacting with people in data science and biology or anything. Also try to interact with other people, learn how they are actually approaching a problem. That will give you a lot of ideas. And also when you see a similar kind of a problem, right, those kind of solutions will also be quite helpful to you to actually approach the problem and try a formulative solution. And then coming to it, uh, so the next aspect what I really want to say about it is, now okay, we have so and so set of skills that we have to master. So and so skills you are like, you are doing good, but some things, in spite of hard thing, sometimes you may not be able to master it, but you will be able to know it. So it is good to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. Learn what you're strong in, learn what you're weak in. Try to uh, go on a, I would say, a gradient way, a step by step way to cover up your weaknesses, and focus and remaster, relearn, unlearn in certain cases, and do take up, strengthen your right skills and foundations. So when it comes to programming and machine learning, I would highly suggest, even though you have attended certain courses, you have to be in the regular touch. You have to practice a lot of use cases. There are websites like Leak Code and Code Warriors, Sometimes there are competitions in Kaggle. I would highly recommend you to participate in it, because only then you will get to know what is your speed in achieving it. What is the solution that you have applied? Are there any alternative solutions, or how to better ourselves? So these kind of things, I think, you can only get when you have a lot of hands-on experience. Luckily, today we have a lot of websites, like I've told you, a lot of websites. They they organize competitions and other things. To participate in it, learn certain new techniques that are being used by the other competitors, learn an alternative solutions to it, and then remaster the skill that you have. And most important is the fundamentals, especially in math. I would highly recommend brush up all your basics from probability, statistics, linear algebra. These three are very very important, and these are the fundamentals for whatever AI or statistical analysis you are seeing now. If you are not able to interpret basic mean or arithmetic mode, how does a standard deviation affects the data, then I think it is very highly impossible to even think about big data, forming very complicated models. Because at the end of the day, whatever it is, they all come back to these fundamental things. How do you see what is the subset of data you are seeing, what is the scale that you want to focus, and which part of data you want to use for making the model. It is not that you have to use the entire model, entire data for your model. There would be cases where you have to just use a part of the data and then see how the model is performing and can you improve it or not. So for all of those things, I think your foundation should be very very strong. I would recommend it to see a lot of NPTEL courses, and some of the courses are even offered in Biotechnica. To take them up, uh, just participation alone would not be enough. You really have to go back and practice, because that's what makes things perfect, and there is no shortcut to that. And second thing I would say, hands-on experiences. Lucky today, many startups, they call the final year students, highly recommend them to do projects with them, or mini projects with them, or small curation internships with them. Please do take it up. Only then you will get to know the environment, what they are actually expecting, and how the job nature is. Because what happens is, you will be in one kind of a zone, reading the description of a job, but when you go there, it would not be the same thing as you have imagined. But working or doing internships, for a quarter or even more, will actually give you a real understanding of what is actually required, what is not there for you in terms of skill set, and how you can learn it and become better in your own profile. And in this one particular say, I would say, try to build up project portfolios. There are many data sets, as the previous speakers have mentioned in Kaggle. Use them, build small programs around it, but be thorough in what you are building. Okay, it is not just like you have seen something from a website, and you have just learned it and you are just reproducing it. Don't do that. Take something, a problem, define whatever it's unique for you in your case, but do it sincerely, because that is what is very important, right? How many AI tools or assisting tools come up, it cannot replace the human's critical thought. So you have to really put your mind and understand what is happening, what is the procedure, what could be the possible solution, and that is respected in all levels in all companies. So even if you rely on the AI assistive tools, but that should not dominate your critical thinking. You should be the one who is taking the calls, because as a data scientist, right, you will not be restricted for making the model. As I've told you, you will be asked to infer and say what the data is saying, or conveying, or what the study is conveying at the end. So that call, that decision should be made by you, and that will not come in 1 day or 2 days, or just 1 month in office. It takes time, and these things will help you to get a good perspective on that. And most important thing I would also suggest is, uh, familiarize yourself with GitHub version controlling, because how many ever programs you write, these programs or applications, right, will be deployed on the cloud servers, and you need to then know what is you will have a version for the every program, and you will say what this program caters to. So start writing, when you're writing a program, write a note for it. Say what it does. Say what this function is. What are its constraints and what are its limitations? What is its application? If you have written a program using a different research article, cite that as a comment. It will help you to in the long run. It will, because after doing 10 or 15 programs, sometimes there are chances that we may forgot what we have done earlier. So these kind of practices will help you, keep you aware that what you have done, what is the limitation, and going on. And please use these public data sets. Especially, there are many newsletters that have been coming out from Batch and TLDR. These are all AI newsletters. Many newsletters from NVIDIA as well. Please do use it. In those newsletters, they will tell you what is the latest research they have done, what kind of models they have applied. Just go through it. We may not understand it for one read, but over a period of time, you will really understand what the model is doing, okay, and what a program or what a particular statistical parameter significance is. You will get to know and consolidate, and at the same time, you will be able to consolidate it. Okay, this kind of an analysis can be used for three different subjects, but it is not recommended for the other subject because the data simply doesn't support it. So these kind of ideas, or the perspectives, you will get by reading the newspapers, recent research articles. It is not that you have to read it every day. Pick any one or two, read it over the weekend, share your thoughts about it. Have a good practice of writing, what you read and what you understand, because the technical skills are very very important uh, uh, as your programming or other skills. When I mean technical, it's the writing technical skill, because you would be expected to document the things what you have done in the office or about a project. So at that time, it is you should not write it like a general blog or an expose or a like just putting a photo of an Instagram post. It must be very professional. So start writing about what you understand about the things that are already present. These kind of things will help you in a way. Join different groups. Speak with the existing senior people. Especially ask them what kind of problems they solve, what is their role, because because there are many jobs that are related for data analysis, but not everyone does that. One group only prepares the data, one group maintains it, one group sometimes does only visualization of it. So please be aware of what kind of the role or the description of the job is, and then apply to it. As I've told you, doing internships and certain times mini projects, these kind of things will help you, give you a better exposure about these job descriptions and the environment. Most importantly, before I forget, the pace. So you have to accept that you will be competing with people uh, who have learned this in their in one of their graduation or undergraduation courses, and you will be competing with them. They may be working in a very different domain, but at the end he is your competitor, okay? So you should be on par, or more effective, and uh, your efficacy should be basically higher than them. So it that happens only when you do a lot of practice, do a lot of programming, getting thorough with it. AI assistive tools, they will help you only to an extent, but if you really want to crack a good interview, be in a good company, you should develop your own skill, and that's what lasts longer, and that's what will help you also in the long run. And talking about the future prospects in the biology, you have seen there are many models. Especially, there is a model now released by NVIDIA called Evo 2. If you have not heard about it, please do a Google and just have a small read about it. So there are many models that have been trained over billion and million parameters, who are over protein structures, different genomes, and which are readily usable. So your starting step would be something from the 100th or 75th floor, and then what you can do using that. So sometimes building horizontal platforms is a skill, but building buildings or the horizontal platform is also very very important. So do check these kind of I would say models that have been released by the other companies. Learn about them, learn what is their purpose. If possible, do a hands-on train. They do provide those kind of features. I would also recommend you to take up either one, Azure or AWS. Pick any one. I think AWS also provides you 1 year free subscription for their one of their servers through your ID. Even though it is not full 100% coverage of all the services, but you will at least get to know what a cloud server is, how programs are deployed, how to run a program within that environment. So use those kind of things that are available in online, and start building up your resume. So coming back to the emerging trends, the genomics, the sector is booming. Every night or every fourth night, you can expect one major breakthrough happening in that field, because there is already a lot of amount of data collected, but the interpretation of the data, people who do the interpretation of that are very very less. So they are all now running day and night to make these kind of suggestions using different models. So do have a read about it. Please do, if you have any understanding about those models, please do post about it in the LinkedIn, and try to share it with your friends. That is quite very helpful. As I've told you, digital twins and virtual patients, these are the second things that have been using AI, and moreover, they are focused on treatment personalization. Especially, you have certain surgeries that are not general. For example, say you have got a limb injury or a knee injury, you cannot have just one standard implant to be put for all sections of people. So for those kind of things, you need a very personalized treatment. You have to know how the implant works for a taller person, how it works for an obese person, how it works for a shorter person, and those kind of things. And this is the where place where AI, especially reinforcement learning, those kind of techniques have been widely used in developing digital twins or virtual patients, so that you can build personalized implants for it. And that's a new section. And obviously, everybody would have come across certain models in epidemiology during the COVID outbreak, how the disease is spreading, what kind of population is affecting. So a whole new, I would say, a segment in data science for this scatter of problem itself is open. And that deals with a lot of numbers. When it's with numbers, you have to be very good with stats, and also your visualization plots. Like, there are different plots again. There's a bar plot, uh, and there is a bell curve and all those things. You have to know each curve, what it refers and what it conveys. So please do look at those things. I think most of the options are there in Cburn and Matplotlib. When you look at them, just don't look how to use it, but see the description about it, what it does, how it is being used, and that's how you can learn more faster. So talking about career opportunities, there is always chances in academia, but I would bat more for industry and industry related opportunities, because in academia you would be restricted in some other ways because of the funding certain times you get for the institutes and so on. But in industry, it is very very different. And industry, your whatever work you are doing is directly going into the public space, being utilized by millions of people. So aim for it. Learn how to file a patent. What is the importance of patents, and so on. That is quite very important. Uh, Few government and non-profit hospitals have already opened up for biotech, but my personal opinion is it should be more open. They have to take more people, because only when the people in the biology and the doctors work together, I still think the treatment, the diagnostics, the therapeutic suggestions that is being given to the patient would improve at a large scale. But there are certain openings in the private sector hospitals for biologists, uh, especially for computational biologists. If you come across anything, please to take it up. Don't say no for such kind of opportunities, because that is where you would be directly working with the patient. It's more, I would say, a direct contact than compared to the industry. Obviously, there is a drug delivery, and there are many models that have been, especially statistical models that have been used for drug delivery systems. There's a very famous company, a startup, but it's a very good company called Vantage Research in Chennai. Do have a look at that company. They do build models around it, and they also post the newsletters and blogs about the models. So you can have a read and you can see how they are doing it. So in crisp, I would say stay hungry and keep updating yourself, because it's a very a tight paced and a very competitive field. Because it is not just the people in biology that come into here for addressing the biology related problems, but you'll be having a lot of people from a very different domains who are already well equipped with usage of these tools. So keep motivating yourself, keep learning, and do well. Yeah. So once again, I would like to thank Biotechnica and all the speakers. I mean, they've given a fabulous information, no doubt about it. Uh, Wish I really had got some of these things 8 years back, but I think you guys are really lucky, and I hope those information is also very vital and useful for you. So thank you again.
So, everyone, I hope you really loved this webinar. There was so much to unpack. Like, I've taken notes down myself because there was a lot of information. So, this is a rewatch, so you can watch it again. And I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of the speakers that joined us today, be it Dr. Nilofer, Pradyot, Mr. Indranil, and also last but not least, Mr. Karpati, who was so, informative about what lies ahead in this data science domain for all of us, be it the challenges faced, what companies, etc. So there's so much to unpack here. And also, if you are curious and you want to dip your toes into this world of data sciences for biologists, Biotechnica has its very own data science for biologists course, which is starting soon. That is next week, Tuesday. You can also check out the coding course that we have. So all of this will give you a taste of what it is like. So I'm sure most of you are curious. Most of your questions also will be answered as the presentation had been going on. But if you have some more questions, since we are running short on time right now, send it to info@biotechnica.org. So don't forget to check out our data scientist hands-on, by the way, for biologists course, coding for biologists as well. And yeah, have a really good night and see you next time. Thank you so much to all of our speakers once again.